All right, what's going on? Hey, I'm Maurice Murphy, and this is my beautiful wife, Annetta. What we want to do on this video, we wanted to bring you some valuable information about being a PH student, the process of getting into PH school. My wife just got in, just finished her first semester. She's currently on a break right now, so we thought this would be a great time for her to tell her story and give you guys some valuable information, guys and gals, valuable information. Go ahead and introduce yourself, babe.
So my name is Annetta Murphy. I'm currently a first-year student at, do I say what school I go to?
Sure.
Nova Southeastern University here in Jacksonville. Like you said, I just finished my first semester and I'm about to rev up and start my next semester soon.
Cool. So you will graduate. Well, so kind of give us the process of how it goes. So you finish the first year, then what happens? Then what happens after that? How's it go?
Okay, so it's a 27-month program. So we have 4 semesters of academic, which we call didactic, and then you have an additional, I think it's 4 or 5 semesters about didactic. Then the rest is more clinical based. So we'll be out in different sites, actually doing hands-on on patients for the rest of the process.
Gotcha. And so kind of give us a little bit of your background of where you, before you even became a PA or decided to go into PA school.
Okay, so a little bit of background about me. I started off after I finished high school. I became a hospital corpsman, joined the Navy. I served in the Navy for 8 years, did active duty and reserves. After I finished my active duty service, I got my bachelor's degree in healthcare administration at Northern Illinois University. Then I got my master's degree at St. Louis University in healthcare administration. Then I actually came back into the military as a commissioned officer, and I did 8 years as a commissioned officer, as a healthcare administrator. Then I got out the military again, and now I'm currently in PA school.
Okay. And then so you've always had a certain passion for healthcare, and not just on the administration side, to actually treat patients and actually, be of service to patients. That's been a long-standing, how you felt for a long time.
Yes, I mean I'm from a family of healthcare providers. My mom's a nurse, my sister's a nurse, my aunts were nurses, so I've kind of always been around the healthcare field. So it's kind of almost in my blood, as I would say. So becoming a corpsman and then transitioning to PA it's kind of natural to me.
Okay. So now tell the viewers out there, how does the PA process go? Like how does it work?
Okay, so once you decide that you want to be a PA, you want to make sure you do your research to understand what field you're getting into or what it entails to be a PA. So, I mean, once you kind of get an interest in it, I definitely would advise people to maybe shadow a PA to kind of understand what they do from a day-to-day, what's involved in being a PA. And, once you finally make that decision, you have to get the prerequisites. If you're not a science major, you have to get those prerequisites out the way, like biochemistry, organic chemistry, your different chemistries, your different maths and sciences. You have to take those and get those out the way. You want to have some volunteer experience. Like I say, you want to shadow a PA, and then you want to take your GRE, and you want to maintain a certain GPA to register for PA school or try to apply for PA school.
Okay, so with those prereqs, GRE was kind of like the toughest point at a certain time. How many times did you take the GRE?
5 times. I took the GRE 5 times.
Okay, so 5 times, and then you have to be at a certain percentage to even be eligible to apply for PA school. And that applies to what school, or how does that work?
So each school has I forget how it's scored now. I forget what the scores are now, but there is a certain score you're supposed to meet for each PA school. And I mean, even if you don't meet that score, I wouldn't be discouraged from applying, because I mean, to be honest, I didn't meet that GRE score, and I still got accepted into PA school. So I would still say, regardless, I would still apply, because they look at the overall candidate versus just GRE.
Got you. Okay, so once you had your GRE good, or at least taken to the highest of your ability, you had the actual GPA. I guess it's a GPA requirement.
It's a GPA. It's definitely a GPA requirement. Now, GPA is important because they won't even look at you if you don't meet that GPA. So I think the GPA was, I want to say it was a
3.0.
3.0. I believe it was a 3.0. You at least want to have a 3.0 to get into, but I mean, you want to be competitive, so you want to have a higher GPA if possible.
Got you. And then so So with the GPA, you got the GRE, and then you have to take those prereq courses that you mentioned.
You do your prerequisite courses. You need letters of recommendations from, if you have a job from your supervisor, you definitely need letters of recommendation from another PA, also from a physician or a nurse practitioner. And I know my school required it to be from a PA, a doctor, or a nurse practitioner. It couldn't just be from a nurse.
Gotcha. So you kind of need to have some network or some people that that know some people that you can get those recommendations.
Yes, and if not, I don't know how other people did it as far as networking to get with other PAs. I mean, luckily I was blessed enough to be in the Navy, and I was able to know a PA who allowed me to shadow her so I can get a letter of recommendation. But just from talking to some of my classmates, I think they emailed and they called and actually showed up to people's offices or to be able to shadow another PA.
Gotcha. Now, is the shadowing time a requirement, or is that?
Most schools don't require it, but it definitely, I know my school didn't require it, but it definitely looks good.
Okay, gotcha. And so now that you've got all once you start the process, you got all your recommendations, you got everything you need. Is there anything else that they need according to the school you go to Nova?
I'm trying to think. I think that was it for the most part. And then you have to put all that. Oh, you need after you finish that, you need all your transcripts and all your courses. Most of your courses have to be completed before you apply for PA school, and it's in a system called CASPA. That's where everything goes into this system for any PA school you apply to. It's a system called CASPA, and everything must go into that system.
And that's where it has to be verified.
Verified, absolutely.
So tell them the story. What happened the first time you applied?
So first time I applied for PA school, I submitted all my documents into CASPA, my letters of recommendation, all my transcripts. Well, I thought I did all my transcripts, all my courses. I paid CASPA, but I still had one course that was outstanding, and I was waiting to finish that course before I submit my transcript. I hit submit. So when you submit everything has to be verified by CASPA. If it's not verified by CASPA, then they won't submit your application to the school. So I paid for everything. I hit submit, and I kept getting messages back saying we're still missing one transcript. But I thought I had submitted everything. So when the window closed, everything wasn't submitted. They still needed that additional transcript. Well, I thought that last transcript was supposed to get submitted to the school, not to the CASPA system. But that last transcript was supposed to be submitted into this CASPA system. So all in all, my application was not submitted, and I lost a lot of money for that first round of submissions.
Got you. And then so once you missed that opportunity, you had to wait another year.
I had to wait a whole year because most schools are not. You only start once a year. Most PA schools only start once a year. So I had to wait for the next cycle to roll around before I could apply for PA school, which was a whole nother year.
Gotcha.
So I had to resubmit everything back into CASPA, make sure all my transcripts was back in there. I had to get new letters of recommendation because your letters of recommendation don't roll over in CASPA. You have to get new letters of recommendation and fill out all the information. Some of the information can go from one application to the next, but mostly everything has to be resubmitted.
Gotcha. Okay, so now you got all this information, you got everything submitted properly, CASPA's verified everything. Now, what's next after that?
So once CASPA gives you that stamp of verification, then they submit it to the school. And then you'll get that email saying all your applications were submitted to the school. Then eventually you'll start receiving emails from the school saying, we received your application. And then after that, then you'll start getting either your, hey, sorry, your application wasn't competitive enough, or then you'll start getting emails and phone calls to say, hey, we would like to start interviewing you for the process for acceptance into our program.
Gotcha. And then, so how many schools can you apply for in CASPA?
As many as you can pay for.
Okay. Okay.
As much as you can pay for.
And you have to pay for each different
each different application. You pay for a different application, and some programs have different requirements. So some just may require the GRE. Some schools require that you take something called I think it's a PCAT. It's like an MCAT, but it's a PA-CAT or something like that. Or you have to take like these personality exams or scenario-based exams about what would you do. I can't remember the name of. It was another test that I took for another school in Florida. They required me to take it, and all this stuff costs money. So you definitely have to do your research about what the expectations or what the requirement, or if they require the GRE or if they require the PCAT, because some programs require certain things. So you have to make sure you do your proper research before you hit submit in CASPA.
Okay, and so now once the school brings you in and reaches out to you and say, hey, we want to do an interview with you, kind of walk the viewers through the process of how that interview process goes.
So I got many denials. Some schools, they send you an email right away and say, no, thank you. So I got my first.
Really quick on that. So a lot of schools denied you, but did that discourage you a little bit, or how did you feel about that? Kind of talk about that a little bit more.
I felt a little bit, but I know I applied to a lot of schools. So I said, if somebody give me a chance, I'll show them that I'm a excellent candidate for the school. So I was just hoping somebody gave me a chance. So I think I got denied like 3 or 4 times. I think I applied like to 6 or 7 schools, and some schools denied right away. Some maybe a week later. Some I never heard from, and then I think I was down to like 2 schools, and then in December, I got an email that said, "Hey, we would like to schedule a day for your interview." So I said, "Hey, if you just get me in the door, I'll be ready to go." So then I just started practicing for my interview.
Okay, so you only needed one yes.
I needed one yes.
And that's all you needed.
I just needed one yes.
Gotcha. So now the interview process. So let's walk through the interview process. How does that go? They call you in for the interview, and then I think during this time we was doing COVID still.
Yeah, so during my time it was during COVID. So we scheduled a date for the interview, and they told me it would be, I think my process was like, they told me it'd be like a 3 to 4 hour process for my interview. I don't think they really gave me how it was gonna go. Oh yeah, they did. They did give me how it was gonna go. So first hour was like you're working in a group scenario about how you would handle certain situations. You read off of a scenario, and then you and your other people that you interview with had to come up with how you would handle a certain situation. And then we did kind of a group style interview process. They kind of went around, because we were all on Zoom, so they had to go around to say, okay, what would you do in this situation? What would you do in that situation? So we each got a chance to answer that. Then we broke off for a 30-minute individual interview with the different professors, and then I think that was probably the 3 to 4 hours right there.
Wow, so it's a 3 to 4 hour process.
Yes, it was. It may have been longer, but my mind has been so inundated with school material. I can't remember how long the process was, to be honest.
Got you. So that interview process, you talked about, is 3 to 4 hours. What was your mindset like actually going into that interview for that long of a time and trying to figure things out?
Well, luckily I had kind of talked to some of the students that were in the program already. I kind of Instagram stalked them a little bit, and I am, or is it DM? I don't know. Is it DM? I don't know. DM. I DM'd them, and so they were able to answer a few of my questions. They didn't want to give too many details, but they answered a lot of my questions. So I had a rough idea of what it was going to be like. Then I practiced. I wrote down I rehearsed some questions that I would answer, but I wanted to make sure that I was authentic and honest. So after I just kind of went over a few questions and did some of the scenarios, I actually bought a PA interview book. And once I kind of went through that, I felt a little bit more confident in the interview process.
Got you. Okay. So preparation wise, you bought an interview book, you practiced, you talked to other students. Is there anything else that you did that could help someone prepare for the interview process?
I practiced in my suit.
Okay.
I practiced in the suit that I was going to wear.
Okay.
To make sure I was comfortable in that suit. So I actually put the suit on, and I sat in front of my computer and I practiced in front of my computer, because I was on Zoom, what I would actually say. And you definitely have to be confident. I mean, you don't want cookie cutter answers, and you want to be confident in the answers that you give.
Got you. So your answer shouldn't sound rehearsed or
No,
it should sound
no.
kind of
I
genuine
mean,
too.
yeah, you should rehearse, but
Yes.
they should not sound rehearsed.
Okay, got you. Okay, so you got through the interviewing process, and then how long after the interview process do you find out if you're accepted or whether you made it or not? How does that go?
I'm trying to think.
It was a few weeks.
It was only a few weeks. I think it
Okay.
was only maybe 3 or 4 weeks. I got a call and said that I was accepted into the program. So it wasn't long. Maybe
Gotcha.
3 or 4 weeks.
Got you. So that one yes got you into PA school.
Yes.
That's all you needed.
That's all I needed was one yes.